Hello! Hello, hello, hello. 1 second here, real quick. There we go. I finally put the, well, you guys saw the studio tour probably, the fan. Finally put it in. Chugging along, bro. Yeah, and I am completely, oh, let me turn this off. Completely not warmed up. This is, I played way earlier today this morning, but other than that I haven't played guitar at all. This was literally, I was like running around to get all the other stuff set up. I was like, why did I think I could have this ready in time? Looks and sounds great. Awesome. Thank you, Big Red Tower. Hello, hello, hello. Oh, well, thank you very much, Evan. Carnamics, what? It's in the tweed case in the back. Ooh-hoo. Wednesday, you find out. I actually just did a video today. This isn't gonna be on my channel. It's gonna be on his channel. But I just did a video with Tim Pierce today, talking about some different guitars, and that one is there. So you'll see it Wednesday on my channel, but on Sunday he has a really cool video going up, and you'll see me talk about it on there too. Adam, what's up, brother? I know I got this thing really loud. Greetings from... Greetings! You know, I didn't get to do a live stream last week, and I felt really bad. And I wasn't going to get to do one today. And I was just kind of like, man, you know, tired or not, I should just go upstairs and do it, at least for a little bit, you know, an hour or two. Might not be a 3-hour stream like usual, but... I am, you know what? I'm going to keep this case a tease. But I'll tell you something, because I've actually had this guitar now for a while. Sam, you already know what it is, but I've had it 2 weeks? Maybe I've had it a month now. I'm not sure. I've had it for a little while. And I just bought another guitar, but it's not for me. We got it that we're going to give away to you guys, and whenever I announce this guitar, we're also giving away one of our, like my personal guitars as well. Because, like I said, if you saw the Strat giveaway, we gave that Strat to Jim, and then, I don't know, the whole situation, you know what, we won't even talk about it. Gave that guitar to Jim, was going to give away a second guitar, so now I'm going to give away 2 guitars to make up for that second guitar never having been given away. Hello, did everyone leave? I don't think so. It says there's 118 people. Hey, my thing's working this week. Corey, you're late. Oh no, dude, I just started, man. So you're right on time. And it's so nice to have the air conditioner hooked up in here now. I'm like comfortable. Not all hot. Oh, whoa. Okay, there we go. So anyways, how's everybody doing? How are you guys doing? What monitors do I use? I don't know what the JBLs are. If you want to like any of the studio gear in here, I tried to talk about most of it in my recent studio tour. You can find most of it. The big ones are JBLs, and the smaller ones with the white cones in them, those are Yamaha HS7s. And I think I say it in the studio tour, but the JBLs, they're not like super nice or super expensive monitors. I literally got them because I wanted bigger monitors for the Axfex to go through, and I just wanted separate monitors from, that way everything wasn't going through the HS7s. So they're not like probably the best for mixing or anything like that. They're just literally meant to be loud. Hey Rob, can you put a Bigsby tremolo on one of your guitars? I don't know. I mean, I imagine you could, but I don't have any experience with Bigsby's. I'd love to get a guitar with a Bigsby once. Dobby Dots, why are you even up right now? I gotta do it. Look at this. If you guys have not subscribed to Dobby Dots' channel, check his channel out, because other than him, he's a rad dude. But he has a pedal board that is literally, what's the name of that pedal board brand that you have, man? It literally looks exactly like my Crackle. Look. Where's that? Oh, here it is. Look at my Crackle Charvel, and then go to his channel and look up his pedal board. It looks exactly like it. It's crazy. As soon as I saw it, I think we have to like guitar battle or something to decide who gets the pedal board. But thank you for the super chat, dude. I should probably start by saying that. Smith Array pedal board. That's what it is. It's like literally the most legit pedal board you will ever see. 2 layers, all the effects, everything. I believe it's all in stereo. But this song, I don't have a looper system, so I don't know how to loop anything, but we'll call this one David's Boogie. Oh, hold on, let me turn the mic off so it's a little bit better audio. I should have known better than to try anything fast. Right now, like I said, I'm not warmed up at all. There's a tornado warning in Florida right now, so it's not safe to go to sleep just yet. Oh, wow. Well, dude, stay safe, man. Sorry to hear that. I know you guys are like the kings of crazy weather. Our neighbors just got back from Florida. Oh, Tony, thank you, dude. Kansas Long got to support, dude. Thank you so much, Tony. I appreciate that, man. This song's called. I'm really thinking of original titles tonight. Tony's Boogie. It's just like a key change. Oh, you know what? Here, this one's Tony. I was just messing around with this riff earlier that I had kind of come up with. Oh wait, did I turn the mic back on? I did. Okay. How did the riff go? There's much bass right now. It's crazy. How do I get rid of that? I need to, like... That bass needs to calm it down. Cause you about to lose your job. Still really bassy. Is it really bassy for you guys? It's called Tony's Boogie. There you go. Oh man. Sounds good over here. Okay, cool. Yeah, it just must be super bassy over here for some reason. Yeah, bassy on the palm mutes, but not too much. Okay, cool. Yeah, it's like in the room. I don't know if it's just like I happen to have it at the perfect volume where the notes are just rattling stuff, but it sounds so crazy bassy. That Vi 5th run. Yeah, I know, right? What is it? Simpsons. It's all Lydian. I don't know how to play any Vi stuff other than that one lick. That's like the only Vi thing I know. Nice toner. Thank you, man. You know, like I said, I've talked about this a bunch with this particular guitar. I'm not a huge fan of how it sounds. A lot of people, you know, it's funny how like certain guitars resonate really well with other people. Like you guys always see every time I use this guitar in a video. Sorry, my words are all tangled up. Everyone loves the tone of this guitar, and I'm like, man, I just don't like the way this guitar sounds. It's something about this Duncan. I bet if I changed the pickup, I'd like it a lot more. But I'm so lazy, and this is something I was talking with Tim about today on his video, was that, you know, I just view tones more through guitars than anything else. So when I think of this super high gain compressed tone, even though it's not what I'm going for all the time, I think of this guitar, and I often I think about changing the pickup, and I'm like, yeah, but then I wouldn't have that tone anymore. So I just kind of keep it, even though, like I said, I don't use it a lot. But you know, it still serves its purpose, and I'm doing that '80s guitar course, so I'm like, you know, this really has that. Oh, you know what? I think that what I don't like about this, now that I think I just realized it, I think this pickup sounds like an EMG. That's what it really sounds like. How funny. Doesn't it? It has like a very, like, whatever that, like, hi-fi EMG sound is. I think I just realized that to me this pickup sounds like an EMG. A very dead horse. Thank you. You about to lose your mind. Oh man. I just got a new guitar coming. A Music Man Silhouette. Ever play them? I have not. Are you having a? Hope you're having a good one. Thank you, dude. Well, thank you for the super chat, man. And yeah, that's if you guys haven't heard that song, you about to lose your mind. Get this dance. It's so good. God, it's so good. I have not played one of those. I can't remember the new Ernie Ball guitars that came out. The Sabre, whatever they're called. I spoke to the guys over there, and I'm supposed to be getting one. Not to have. I just asked them if I could check it out. And supposed to be getting one of those. at some point they're just kind of like, obviously there's a lot going on in the world, and they're kind of like, yeah, we'll get that out to you as soon as we can. It's just not a top priority right now. Which distortion pedal do I use? None really. I have a board over here that I'll be showing you guys soon. It's not. I mean, it's not as cool as Dobie's board, but you know what? It's got a lot of distortion pedals on it. Oh, Friedman Telly? Sure. I was just playing it the other day because I'd been playing other guitars, and I was like, oh man, this guitar is still, you know, it's all killer, no filler, bro. You about to lose, Joe. It's been stuck in my head all day. Okay. There we go. Or would you choose an expensive Epiphone or a cheap Fender? It just depends. Those are two very, very different guitars. It all depends on what you're trying to get out of it. Like if you're like an Epiphone Les Paul style guitar, you know, I really feel like even though you can put a humbucker in a Strat and, you know, turn it into a Super Strat, all that stuff, they never sound like Les Pauls. They sound close, but they're never like totally there. So, you know, if you're wanting that real thick Les Paul kind of tone, then go Epiphone for sure. Or honestly, I mean, get like a used studio. You could go Gibson if you find a studio for the right price. Gold top, oh, there's the gold. I was like, where's the gold top? It's right there. I'll play that one here in a minute, probably. You have all my old courses. Oh, thank you very much. Neil, what up, gangsta? I'm gonna get my hands to wake up. Oh man, hold on. Only downside to the air conditioner is the air blows like right on me right here, which feels very nice. But sometimes it can knock the guitars out of tune, that cold air. How much is the cheapest PRS guitar? I'm not sure. That's probably the SE line. And I honestly don't know what those run, but they are really nice. You know, 100%. And then if you're looking to get into their USA stuff, I think the S2s are, it's basically like it's a USA body and neck. It doesn't have much carve on it, or I think it might not have any carve at all. And, what was I going to say? But it's I think it's Korean hardware and pickups. Thoughts on Ibanez? Yeah, Ibanez are cool. I've never been a big fan of Ibanez necks, is the issue, except for the AZ line. Those are cool. Yeah, you can ask your questions, but don't post it like 1,000 times though. Waiting out on a PRS SE custom. Can't wait for it. Oh, that's awesome, Corey. Yeah, like I said, the PRS stuff, man, they're hard to beat. I just made a post the other day about my PRS on Instagram. It's right back there, my CE. And I would realize because I was recording another song, and I was like, you know what? I don't think I understand just how often I use this guitar. It kind of dawned on me that I use it all the time. Constantly, I'm using that guitar. Yeah, Billy, you gotta chill, man. You gotta chill in that chat, bro. I don't know much about Vox, to be honest. I'd like to own one because I always hear people reference Fender, Marshall, Vox as the three main amp tones, but yeah, I don't have any experience. I don't even know if I've ever played a Vox. I don't think I ever have. Oh, is TK live right now? I didn't even look. Your new course will be any help for an intermediate guitarist? Yes. So I have 2 new courses coming out. I have the 80s one, which is going to be more geared towards intermediates, but I'm also coming out with, I think I'm actually going to do Rock and Roll Bootcamp Part 2, which is 100% geared towards basically the second phase of Rock and Roll Bootcamp, so intermediate guitar players. The first one was for beginners. This one's going to be intermediate players. And I think that one might come out first, and I'm going to try to have it done and out in July. Is my goal right now. Killer, thank you. How do you become familiar with every part of the fretboard? I mean, knowing what part of the fretboard sounds like what, and come to the stage. Oh, sorry. Chat moved past. Hey, Scott. What's up, buddy? A stage where one can instantly play what he recalls in his head. That is just something that takes a lot of time, years, really. And I think part of that is not only, well, everyone's different. But I know for myself, a lot of it is understanding what you're hearing. So it's not even so much an area on the fingerboard, but just knowing what sound it is that you're hearing and trying to create. So I remember there was a song that I wrote for the custom Les Paul that I had, and it went like this. However, I can't remember the riff, but I could hear it and I could kind of tell. I was like, oh, this is I don't know why, but I could hear it. I'm like, it totally has this Mixolydian vibe. And I went, so that's a sound. So I think part of it is if you are attempting to play more modally, that is understanding the sounds that you're hearing. So if you're hearing something, sometimes I hear stuff and I'm like, oh, it's totally Phrygian, It just has a certain sound to it. Oh, that is on. And it's just fun to kind of to know those sounds. Even I don't know if I have it pulled up right now. I'm sorry, this might be boring. I was working on a song for the new guitar. And what's kind of tricky, I don't know how well you guys can hear the backing track, but it starts out like this. So it's like A, but I modulate into different keys. So you can hear like it changes because it goes from this. And so on. And you just have to adapt to what the sound is kind of telling you with it. But I don't even know if you guys could hear it. It probably didn't sound like anything. Oh, Christian Churchwell, thanks for making night shift go by quicker. Oh, dude, thank you for the super chat. And I just appreciate you tuning in, dude. Holly Benton does great marketing too. I guess I don't know what that means. I was asked, and some of you guys might have voted on it. I did a poll. I was asked to demo the new Soldano SLO30 amp. And I think it was like, I don't know, like 4,000 people voted on it, and it was like 95 or 96% were like, yeah, demo the amp. And I think I might tell them yes. You know, I was still kind of debating on it. With that kind of stuff, I think some people were kind of confused. Oh, my pic's just gone. Confused by what I was saying. Whenever they send me something like one of those amps, like the SLO30, I don't get to keep those amps. You know, that's not a... They send it to me and I keep it forever. I could buy the amp from them if I wanted to. They're always really nice. It's like artist pricing on that stuff. But yeah, I wasn't so much asking like, hey, do you guys want me to get a free amp? It was just like, I know the guys over there, and whenever they come out with a new product, they usually will like text me and just be like, hey man, do you want to check this out? And the majority of the time I'm like, nah. I'm not looking to demo anything right now. But the SLO30, I was kind of like, I didn't get to play it at NAMM, but everyone said they really liked it, and you guys seemed to be interested in it. SRAF. Oh wow, thank you so much. Gotta sleep, brother. Thanks for the videos. I'll watch tomorrow. Any experience with Digitech drop tuner pedal? You know what? Well, first of all, thank you for the super chat, man. And I don't have any experience with the drop tune pedal. I've known a lot of friends who use them. But what I do have experience with is my my wife's Fender VG. And that has a knob that, it digitally alters the tuning of your guitar. So I'll say this. I imagine it falls in the same category as the drop tune pedal. It's really, really cool, and it sounds great as long as you can't hear your own guitar. Because if you're playing at a low volume and you can hear your own strings, it really messes with you. So that's what I found with her guitars. Like, what's kind of old technology. It doesn't sound the best now, but it's really cool because you hear it in my guitar will be like baritone tunings, but if I'm not playing loud enough to where I can't hear my own strings, it really messes with you because then you're hearing your normal standard tuned guitar and that. So just make sure if you're using it, the majority of the time you're playing loud enough to where you can't hear your own strings. I've always heard great things about the Vigier guitars. His family sleep outside during live streams. No, so the reason why I wasn't going to be able to do a live stream tonight is me and my wife are huge UFC fans. So tonight was a UFC card, and we finished it. But my son is actually staying. Well, he's camping out with my mom tonight. They went fishing and stuff, and we're all kind of like, because of the pandemic and all that stuff, we all turned into night owls because we didn't have to get up early anymore for my son to go to school. So my wife, she's probably still awake right now. I'm using my Axe Effects right now. Harley Benton. Yeah, I don't have a lot of experience with Harley Bentons. Cody's back, right? Oh, I was so happy. Like I love Garbrandt, you know, and he's Ohio guy and all that kind of stuff. And dude, he looked great tonight. I was so pumped. The video you put out yesterday, playing faster, it will really help. Oh, dude, thank you so much, Scott. I'm gonna be doing more of those. It's funny. Sometimes the comments are just emails I get from people who say things, and I think there's a lot of and this isn't me complaining at all. Please don't think that it is. I think sometimes when people post stuff, they're like, quit doing this stuff. I just want to see your lessons, or all that kind of stuff. And it's kind of like almost like a backhanded compliment, because it's like they're saying they like my lessons, which is really nice. But sometimes it's easy to not think like, oh, well, this person has already done, like I probably have, I don't know, I've done like 17 or 1800 videos. I would bet that 1,000 of those videos are lessons. And it's like, sometimes I have to like take a break away from the literally like this finger on this fret style lessons, And I think sometimes, I don't know, I get some, in my opinion, like rude emails from people, and I'm like, I don't know. I would never say that stuff to people. Built TV, what do you think of V profile necks? Very interesting that you should ask me that question. There might be a guitar showing up soon that has a very soft V profile neck. The real hardcore, my wife had a pink 56 reissue Strat at one point, and it had a pretty substantial V in the neck, and I did not like that at all. But if it has a real soft V, like a 58 or something like that, those are super comfortable. And thank you for the super chat. Sorry, I wasn't trying to be rude. Can you play a song in the key of B flat? Sure. Oh, maybe. This is a song in the key of B flat. This is a song in the key of B flat. I'm gonna switch guitars though. Nicer than most people? I don't know if I'm any nicer or anything, but it never hurts to kind of like think about what you're gonna say before you say it. Yeah, let me switch guitars though. I love this guitar. It's well, I'll talk about this here in just a second. Let's see if this one's in tune. I might have been on the studio tour. I was talking about how, and I'm sure other people do this too, you go through phases, and there's these phases of these guitars you just love, and like I said, there'll be phases where I don't play any Strat style guitars. It's all Tele, Les Paul, that kind of thing. And there'll be phases where I don't pick up a Les Paul. I'm playing Super Strats, like that's my main thing. And right now it's like the Friedman and what's the other ones? Like the Volas and all that kind of stuff. Like the more Super Strat guitars, I'm not really playing any of those right now. I've been more like Les Paul heavy. Where in Australia is Robert? Oh, I am nowhere in Australia. I am in the USA, man. What pickups are you using? I honestly don't remember. I don't remember what pickups are in these. One of them is the Pearly Gates. I think the neck is the Pearly Gate. This is an Alnico 2 in the bridge, I think. I can't totally remember. Yeah, the guys at Acacia still have mine. What happened was, the neck got broken, shipping and all that stuff, and we had decided on different pickups that I wanted to put on it because I was changing it to HSS. And right when the pickups were ordered, that's whenever Seymour Duncan shut down. Not that it's funny that it shut down, but it was just like ironic. I'm like, God, this guitar is just like determined to never like make its way back to me. But I should have it back soon. Robert is in Ohio, Australia. Yeah, Ohio, Australia. Terrible accent. Oh, dude, I'm just giving you a hard time, man. I have a weird accent, anyways. So my mom's from Ohio, so I don't think Ohio has too much of an accent. It's more like, I guess it's a little bit that Midwest thing. But my dad was from South Carolina, so he had a strong accent. So I have this weird like cross, this Midwest Southern accent on a lot of the stuff that I say, and it's sometimes I just say stuff weird. And people, where are you from? I love the Les Pauls. You have to try the PRS 594. Awesome, dude. Well, you know what's funny, Scott, is I don't really care for the PRS like single cut guitars. I've played a lot of them. I love their double cut, like the McCarty 594, like the double cut one. Incredible. Love those. But I don't like any other single cut guitars. I have a friend who, that's like his favorite thing. He loves them, and he has, I don't know, probably 4 or 5 of them. He has a bunch of them. And I have yet to play one that I really like. I think it's because like I look at them and I want them to be a Les Paul, and then they just feel nothing like a Les Paul, and I'm like, aw, What makes you want a certain guitar? That's a great question. For me, like I said, it all comes down to the fact that I view tones in terms of guitars. So, like, I love my other Les Paul, but the same thing that makes my my KM great is also what makes it not great. And what I'm talking about is the fact that it doesn't sound like a Les Paul. It's very bright and twangy, so it sounds a lot like something like a Tele, So I didn't have a Les Paul that, in my opinion, sounded like a Les Paul. So that's why, like this one, this is a very dark sounding one. Not super dark. It's still a little bit snappier and brighter because of the maple neck, but it's noticeably darker than my KM. So to me, this one sounds more like a Les Paul should, or at least the Les Paul sound that we typically associate with a Les Paul. So to me, that was why I was like, I wanted another Les Paul, because I wanted one that had that darker sound to it. Keith. What's up, Keith? Ohio has weird looking grass. Yeah, so what Ohio has a lot of, the grass is like Kentucky bluegrass. Got a lot of clover and a lot of that Kentucky bluegrass or like crabgrass and all that stuff. Do you have a color that you will never buy a guitar in? I don't think so. No, because even like pink, like I would love like a shell pink Strat. I love all those, like the car colors and all that kind of stuff. And I can't think of anything that like a color I'd be like, I'm never owning a guitar like that. Play Unforgiven. I don't know Unforgiven, I'm afraid. Is Phil X as a person as good as he seems on YouTube? He is. At least in all the experiences that I've ever had with Phil X, he is super, super nice. And he's very what's the word? Like, if you're jamming with him, he's very intimidating because he just like radiates energy, whether the camera's on or not. He is just like full of energy. It has to just be exhausting to be him. But no, he is very, very nice. Like, I really like Phil. Want me to play Freebird? I don't know how to play Freebird. It sounds close. I don't know how to play it. I don't know. I'm just fishing for notes. I don't know how to play Freebird. I don't think the guitar is about color as much as tone. Yeah, I mean, by all means, like, I like guitars that look different. You know, I personally never really understood having, like, 10 of the same color guitar, but I guess if they all sound different and they're different styles of guitars, you know, I guess if the guitar just speaks to you, you know, if I have a choice at all, I try to get different color guitars. I like guitars that all look different. Even getting this one, even though I loved it, I was kind of initially like, oh man, but it's like, it's another Sunburst Les Paul. I was like, you know, I wanted a black custom is what I was thinking, but this one just spoke to me so much, and I'm so glad I got it because I've gotten to know Paul, the original owner, and he's just a super cool guy. Speaking of bluegrass, Andy Wood. Ooh, Andy is daggum good. Did you get a double neck? I think a double neck would look cool, but I think a double neck is only practical for live. You know, for me, I don't really need a double neck because I have a 12 string, and you know, it kind of goes back to the thing I was saying before about how I view guitars in terms of tones. It's like live, you need these guitars that can just do like everything, but when you do kind of what I do, which is just more sitting in here and recording stuff, you don't. It's okay to have like a bunch of different guitars. So it's like if I'm recording, for example, and I'm doing like a riff section. A lot of times I do the riffs on a Tele and a Les Paul. But when it comes to, like, say I need a neck pickup sound, like, I never actively choose to use the neck pickup on a Tele because I think that that's the weakest sound on a Telecaster. I think the bridge, to me, is the bread and butter. And if I want a neck single coil sound, I use a Strat. So I switch guitars versus trying to get one guitar to do it all. But like I said, for live, you kind of have to like have a guitar that could really kind of just run the gamut of like, oh, it can do this, you know. So that's what I'm always kind of referring to when I'm saying I'm picturing the guitar and thinking of them in terms of tones. Have you ever heard Billy Strings play guitar? No, I haven't. How do I feel about Freebird? I don't know. It's not really one of my favorite tunes, to be honest. I'm not like a huge like Skynyrd guy, just in general. It's kind of like Zeppelin and like Stairway, you know. That's not even close to being one of my favorite Zeppelin songs, and it's, you know, I'm sure with Skynyrd there's like so many other better deep cuts and stuff like that than Freebird. Would you ever refinish a guitar? Sure. I mean, it just depends. Like, if it's an older guitar and it's already been refinished, yeah, I mean, why not? You know, at that point, it's like, if it's not the original paint and it's already been refinished once, why not make it the color that you want, or whatever it is. But if it's like an all original guitar with like original paint, no way. Don't ever do that. Bad. No. Call me the breeze. No, you know what? I mean, I like Skinner. Don't get me wrong. Like, I've definitely learned Skinner songs, and I've covered Skinner in multiple bands that I was in. However it goes, I don't remember to play it anymore. Like I said, I've certainly learned a decent amount of Skinner over the years, but that was always one of those bands that my dad showed me, and what I didn't like about it was I didn't like the recording quality, which sounds like petty to not listen to something because of that. But it's the same reason that like Leonard Skinner didn't jump out at me, and like Black Sabbath when I was really started listening to them. Now I have a different like outlook on a lot of the stuff, but I remember like hearing Black Sabbath, and it was just like I didn't like the sound of it. Not that like what they were playing, I just didn't like the sound of it. But like Led Zeppelin always had such a good sound. Like I just liked the whole vibe of everything, and it was like Van Halen, and even like it was always kind of like strange to me was I always thought CCR, like those albums sounded great, like Cosmos Factory and all that kind of stuff. I don't know, like I just listened to them, I'm like it's weird that like all this stuff was recorded at the same time, but certain bands just seem to have been recorded so much better than others. ZZ Top's another one of those. The real early ZZ Top stuff, it took me a long time to get into because I just didn't like the recording quality of it. But like a little bit later on, there was just such a big jump, and I really liked it. And like I said, it's such a probably dumb thing to think that, but that's the big reason why I didn't get into a lot of bands when I was younger. CCR rocks. Fogerty's such in the pocket. Yeah, dude, I'm gonna do a video about John Fogerty. I love John's playing so much. There's so many cool riffs. Oh, sorry. Man, that one, like, man, how does, I'm getting the, Run Through the Jungle and Susie Q rhythm mixed up, but they're both amazing riffs. Would I dare to play a Jimi Hendrix song on a Les Paul? I wouldn't mind playing on a Les Paul. I dare not play Jimi Hendrix on YouTube, though. something. I like Brian May a lot. Yeah, for sure. I've never spent a lot of time learning Brian May stuff, but I'm sure my buddy Sam Colson can attest to how awesome Brian May is. He just played in the Queen musical. So say hello from Brazil. Oh, hello. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Eric Johnson lick? Let's see. I would need to get my Eric Johnson tone out. Ray said, when you play outside, which scale or ideas help you to sound good? Oh, well, I don't know if I sound any good or not, but if you're trying to get an outside sound, I'm not some like jazz or fusion cat who really knows what they're doing, but for me, I'm just trying to not go too far out of the scale, if that makes sense. Being more of just kind of that rock guy, I like stuff that sounds in more than it sounds out. Like, if you listen to like Sean Tubbs, he does a really good job of mixing in and out sounds in like such a cool way. And I can't do anything like him. But whenever I do kind of add that out sound, sometimes to whatever you're doing, I just, like I said, I just feel like make sure that I'm starting like on a note that's in. And I don't stay out very long, because I'm not, my ears just don't like that sound. To me, like, that has like an out sound. So I'm basically sandwiching the out of key note around like two in key notes. But I'd say I'm playing in a lot more than I ever play out, I was just working on, let's see, so I have it here. So I don't know if you guys saw, I did this collab, and Doug Rappaport played the intro solo on one of the videos, I think the Wednesday video this past week. And I've been working on one that would work for Sean Tubbs, who I was just talking about, who's such an amazing player. So I'm trying to, like, when I write these backing tracks for the player, I'm trying to, like, step inside the world, like, of their playing a little bit more. And like I said, I'm just holding down the rhythm, letting them do their own thing. I don't know if you can hear it. So let me know if you guys can even hear that at all. So if you can, then I'll explain it a little bit more. Okay, room decorating. Oh, thank you. Like I said, not me. That's my wife. She knows. She knows what looks nice, not me. Editor Alex, thank you, dude. Have a great night, man. You can't hear it? Okay. So like I said, I'm kind of like, it's just this real chill. Yep, sounds good. Okay, cool. It's this real chill, like 6/8 vibe, you know. I still need to add layers to it, and it won't be a Les Paul. It'll be a Strat. But it's just like, I just like the chords to it. And then here's where his solo will come in. So on, but this is actually all recorded, going back to what I was talking about earlier, that's all from the PRS. Hey. Favorite guitar player? Eddie Van Halen's, you know, the guy that made me want to play guitar, but there's so many nowadays. I have lots of them. Okay. Wonderwall. Nah, no Wonderwall. Let me, I was going to show this tone a little bit, because I really like the way this sounded on here. So this was the tone for that track. Oh. That is not in tune. There it is. And I always just like, I don't know if it's just me, but these real big reverby tones are so inspiring. I just love the way that stuff sounds. So the intro is... I can't remember if I had that multi-delay on or just the chorus. Free my soul. I saw Mick Mars when I was a kid, and ever since the day needed to learn to play guitar. Oh, that's awesome, dude. Mick is such an underrated guitar player. How can you afford so much amps and guitars? Are you a millionaire? No, not even close. A lot of it, man, is just like I just sell what I'm not using. So like I sell stuff that I'm not using. I save up. There's, you know, lots of different stuff. You know, it could be I'm friends with the store that sells something, and they'll mark off a little bit of the price. Or I'll tell you a big thing, honestly, and this is actually dangerous because they changed it even to make it even easier for you to get gear. A lot of stuff like I bought through Sweetwater, not really through any kind of like discount necessarily. It was just they had an option called 3 Easy Pay, and it breaks it into 3 payments for 3 months. So if there was something more expensive versus putting it on like a credit card or something like that, is that I did the 3 Easy Pay. Now they do a 6 Easy Pay. So I'm just like, oh god. But borrow and never give back. Well, and see, that's the other thing that I was talking to another friend of mine about this. Who he has a successful business and he does stuff, and I was like, so to get like the channel started, a lot of you guys know, that when we had my son, he had a really bad allergy and basically took all of our money. So at one point I had sold everything except for essentially a little practice amp, and I had 1 guitar. And 48 months no interest. Yeah, that's the thing. That's the biggest thing. There's a lot of ways to get gear. But and this is probably not the best way to go about things, but it's kind of like starting a business. So like I said, at one point we had, I had sold pretty much everything that I owned. We were just buying the special, medical formula that he needed. And whenever we decided to really be serious about YouTube, we basically were maxing out credit cards to buy stuff, to buy a new camera, a new computer that could actually handle editing the stuff, lots of stuff. It was all 100% a risk and a gamble. My wife has been like incredibly supportive of it the entire time. Like she's probably been more supportive of it than I have. There were probably times where I was, doubting stuff, and she was, right behind me to, help kind of push through some stuff. So it might not be the best strategy, but it was just kind of, I was like, well, we need this stuff. What do we do? And we just, rolled the dice and hoped that the YouTube stuff would pay off. And so far, like I said, we're super thankful that it did. But I think the biggest part of it all was that we really like believed in it. It sounds cheesy, but like we really did believe in like the YouTube stuff. The speaker is doing some kind of weird ringing thing. I'll have to mess with it. How did me and my wife meet? We met at a music store. I remember our first conversation because it was about pinch harmonics. So she was like a Jimmy Page, freak, and I was an Eddie Van Halen freak, and did something where I did a pinch harmonic, and that was like our first conversation was about pinch harmonics. That all worked. Oh well, honestly, John, it's you guys. It's none of it was doable without all of us. So that's why I'm always super thankful, and a lot of you who've been watching for a long time hear me talk about it all the time, but that's why I'm always so like protective of you guys. So there's another friend I was just talking about that he's been getting approached by a lot of different not endorsement opportunities necessarily, but like people wanting to advertise stuff on his channel, and they're throwing out money and stuff, and I was like nope, I wouldn't do it. I said I absolutely refuse to put anything on the channel just for the sake of money or any of that stuff. I was like, don't do it, dude. And he wasn't gonna do it anyways. It wasn't like I was telling him something he was going to do. He's like, nah, I would never do it. And I just told him, I was like, man, I never, if it's not something that I myself want to check out, it's like I wouldn't bother. But not to be mean to the companies, because it's cool that they want you to promote it and all that kind of stuff. But I'm just like, I don't know. Like I said, I feel like super protective of you guys. So if there's ever a product that you see on here, like the amp switcher thing, that's just something that I wanted, and I think that it's really cool, you know. But before that, and that same with the Soldano amp that they asked me to demo. Like obviously their agenda of the whole thing is for me to demo the amp, it basically as advertisement to you guys. But that's why I even asked you guys. I was like, do you guys even want to see this? Because if the answer is no, I won't even bother. You know, I'll just tell them no now, and they'll find someone else to demo it. Today's video, Raid Shadow. I got approached by them. I get approached by a lot of people, and that's not meant to sound braggy at all. But you know, it's just 99.9% of the time the answer is always no. No. Well, yeah, and it's not even so much about products. That's why I even have it set up on my channel now to flag comments that say the word channel. I have a bunch of different keywords, because I don't like when people try to promote their channel through the comment section of like our videos. It really, really, like, I don't know why. It might seem like petty, but to me, anytime I recommend a channel, like Dovidas was in here earlier, like, I've spoken to him multiple times now. I love his content. I just like him. So I have no issues recommending him. Anybody I ever recommend, I guarantee you I've had conversations with this person, and I know them to some degree. But it's whenever someone is trying to, like, almost like steal you guys away, and I'm like, I don't even know what your content is. Or if I, like, would feel comfortable telling you guys to go check them out. That's the stuff that bothers me, because I'm like, I don't know, I feel like you're like trying to take advantage of you guys almost, of like your kindness, because I feel like we have a super positive and just, you know, amazingly supportive, our own little corner of the internet is here. So I don't know, that's the kind of stuff that like gets under my skin really bad. Like, I don't like it. I follow you for gear advice, and this is the way to get neat toys for you. Like, oh yeah, and like I said, and it's not that I don't like doing gear videos. I love doing. I do a lot of gear videos, and it's because, you know, you go, like I said, you go through phases on YouTube. Like, there are certain gear channels, like obviously they're gonna do gear videos, and there's certain ones that I really like. Like, I love Sean Tubbs' demos. Doug Rappaport does a lot of demos. I love his stuff. I love Fluff stuff. Like, there are certain guys that I go to for demos. You know, like, those are the guys that I like to watch whenever there's a product. And like I said, and those are demo channels. They should be demoing all the all the new gear. Like, that's the foundation of a lot of those channels. But for me, I don't know. It just doesn't work with me. Chatting, watching, learning. Yeah. And like I said, you know, that anyone can see it. The channel will go through phases where I'll do a bunch of teaching videos, and I'll get really burnt out, and I'll do like just goofy gear videos where it's like, oh, a PRS versus a Strat, you know, like that kind of stuff, or like the whole Les Paul top wrap thing. Like, those are all, to me, those are all gear videos, but I'm not trying to like sell anything. Watching, thank you. Oh yeah, I think 249 people at like 2:30 a.m. Thank you. Do I like Stevie T? I don't know Stevie T personally. His style of comedy does not, appeal to me, and I'd say his style of guitar. So I don't. I'm not subscribed to Stevie T, but like I said, I don't know him as a person at all. But as far as his playing and his kind of like vein of comedy, it's that very like, I'm not sure the style of comedy. Like the comedy that I like is more like the real dry comedy, or like the Seinfeld, and I don't know, like Monty Python. You know, what's the movie? Spinal Tap. Jeez, I forgot the name of it. That's the kind of stuff that I always thought was really funny. Biggest question, how many guitars do you need? Honestly, you just need one more. That's it. And then you're done. Just one more guitar. That is all that you need. Monty Python? Monty Python is one of my favorite movies ever. Monty Python, Spinal Tap, like I said, any Seinfeld stuff. What's my favorite tubes? That I don't know. You know, like that side of gear stuff I'm really bad at. Because I guess I don't really know what sounds are associated with certain tubes. I just know, like, oh, I like the way that amp sounds. Oh, it has those tubes in it? Oh, cool. You know, but like even if they're like, no, that has this tube and this, like mixed tubes. I don't even know if you can mix tubes, but mixed tubes, I'm like, I don't even know what that means, but I like the way that amp sounds. So it's kind of funny. All new tubes are either made in China or Russia. Yeah, I did hear that. That is, I mean, there's only, 3 tube makers left in the world, and I think the one in China had something happen, like the factory shut down. I remember Dave Friedman was talking about it in the Tone Talk, like podcast live show that they do, and there was a real threat. You know, the world is gonna have this big tube shortage. There we go. If you're spending time playing a Bender Telly, I've only played a Bender Telly once in my life, and it was at Gearfest. You know what? It was Brian Wampler's Bender Telly, and I didn't know what to do. It did not sound good when it was in my hands. Brian does a lot of stuff though. Seinfeld isn't funny to us Brits. Oh really? Well, like I said, it's very sarcastic funny, you know, and I'm super sarcastic, and I get that from my mom. So anything that is like very rich in sarcasm, like I just like that kind of humor, or like David Spade. Like I love David Spade because he's so sarcastic all the time, and I think like I said, I'm sarcastic most of the time. Or none of the time. Oh wait, that was sarcasm. Man, this speaker is driving me crazy though. I wonder what's happening. I love The Office. Yep. Again, like a lot of that, like Jim humor to me is like rooted in like sarcasm and all that. You'll stop knowing when I was being serious. I know, right? I'm the same way. Figure Tower. Yeah, see that's like just my sense of humor is really dry, and it's someone was talking about like Stevie T. What was it called? Slapstick humor? Is that what he would be considered? Like that Jim Carrey stuff. Like I've never been able to like really watch Jim Carrey movies. It's just even... No, I wouldn't consider Robin Williams in that category. Some Robin Williams stuff I didn't like. It was like on the verge of that. It's New York humor, city people humor. Yeah, it's funny, like I said, but I love The Office. I love Parks and Rec. You know. Probably see the trend in the stuff that I like. I think, yeah, Steve Carell is funny a lot of times. In The Office, I think he's funny. I like Rainn Wilson a lot. I think he's really funny. I do like Dumb and Dumber. I'll say that. Yeah. You know who I didn't know was so funny? Joe Rogan. Like, I know he's a comedian. I've known he's a comedian for a long time. But I never watched any of his stand-up stuff. And I saw some of it and I was like, oh, he has such a different personality whenever he's, like, doing comedy stuff. Because I've just watched his podcasts. And, UFC is... Actually, well, I guess the main thing I know him from is Fear Factor. But, and then UFC all these years, I'm like, oh, he's, a commentator. He just has a certain personality. Then I finally saw his like stand-up stuff. I'm like, oh wow, he's like real, just like animated almost. Like in his podcast, he's always super chill. But Mr. Big, to be with you. How's the song go? Hold on, little girl, tell me what he's done to you. Stand up, little girl. One of the most satisfying musical things ever in the whole world is the fact that the word be, when I'm the one who wants to, the word be is on a B chord. It has to be the most like musically satisfying thing ever. My guitar's out of tune though. Creed. See, I liked Creed. I like them a lot. I'm the one who wants to. Until this guitar was sitting by the air conditioner, everything was sharp. I honestly don't know any flanger pedals. Sorry, it's probably annoying to hear. Stretching the strings out. Is that Cobra Blue? I don't know, to be honest. It is blue, though. It's funny. I'm gonna have to turn this off. I literally can't stand that buzzing. I was talking about guitars that just have like a sound. The sound of this guitar that it got my attention, and everyone who played it at Guitar Fest is when I got this guitar. It was those tones. Listen to it. I'll turn it on, turn the mic off. It was the neck and that position 4 sound. Everyone who played this guitar was just like, that's like one of the best neck. I go, yeah, that's 5 and 4 positions. Yeah, it was. It's sitting by the air conditioner, so I could tell that the strings were tight on it. So yeah, but listen to it without the room mic. So I don't know. It just had the sound, and I found that these are arcane pickups, which I didn't have much experience with until this guitar. I always thought it really got the Eric Johnson sound whenever I turned on a fuzz. The neck profile on this particular one is huge. It's the biggest neck on a guitar I own. Everyone who plays it, they're just like, whoa, that neck is big. I go, I know, right? It's great. There you go. Maybe a little bit more fuzz than that. Oh, hold on. Nope, can't do it. Oh wait, did I turn it back on? I did. I'd like an exotic Strat. I don't think I've seen those. What do you think about Fender Blues Deluxe reissues? I don't. You know, I'm not familiar with Fender amps, to be honest. To know like even what model is what. I'm so bad with that side of stuff. Like I said, I've just spent my whole life being like a guitar nerd, not so much an amp nerd. Like I had certain amps that just I liked the way they sounded, but I didn't pursue any amps past like these. Like I haven't looked at any other ones. If I won the lottery, how many guitars would I buy? All of them. All of the guitars. Yeah, I love shell pink on a Strat. 100%. Another YouTube guy, just a great guitar player, Brett Papa, has a shell pink Strat, and I love it. It's such a cool looking guitar. Actually, my buddy Michael Nilsson on YouTube, he has a shell pink Friedman Strat. Really, really nice. I love it. It looks super, super good. Exotic is a brand made in California. California. Alright. Well, it'd probably dang good. Thought I hated big necks until I played the Friedman. It's super comfortable and probably my favorite. Yeah, the Friedman necks are definitely like bigger. This is substantially bigger than a Friedman neck. Like this is, it's a big neck. Vola actually don't make these necks anymore. They have made them quite a bit smaller now. So I think this is one of the last lines that came with this big neck on it. You're not shredding around on this neck. Mike, way, like, literally substantially bigger than the Friedman necks. Yeah, like I said, legitimately, everyone who grabs this guitar, they're like in shock. The neck is just huge. Not that it can like really do you any kind of like reference through the thing, but it's huge. It fills up the entire palm of my hand. Thicker than a Snickers. Yeah, there's no taper either. It's just like big neck, big neck. It's just all neck, yeah. It's just like, it's 90% neck, 10% guitar. No mods. You know, I honestly, like, I almost never mod any of my guitars. I have to, like, really not like something about it to mod it. I'm trying to think of any. Like, this is all stock. The PRS is all stock. What's a guitar I've changed anything on? Oh, the gold top. Other than changing the bridge pickup on it, I changed it from the Antiquity to the classic Friedman Classic P90. I don't think I changed anything on any of these guitars, other than if something's broken on it. You know, like the pots were bad on my volume knobs on my Les Paul, so I put new pots in it. But yeah, I don't know. It's always been kind of like strange to me changing pickups, because usually when I play a guitar, if I like it, part of the reason why I like it is the way that it sounds. So I guess there's some people who can like play a guitar and be like, you know, like I don't necessarily like the sound of it, but it's just the feel of the guitar is so good. I know that I can get it to sound the way that I want. I've never been that way. For me, like when I fall in love with a guitar and get one that I like, it's because like all of the, you know, boxes get checked. Not only do I like the way that it plays, but I also love the way that it sounds. So it's just, like I said, to me, if I buy a guitar, it's because I like everything about it. You know, maybe that's why I'm so picky about each guitar. Mike, thank you so much, man, for the super chat. Of course, dude. Yeah. Hopefully that was helpful in some way. Like I said, I will say that I like this neck a lot. It's a great neck, but I prefer. Vola came out with another line of guitars called the ROA line, or Roasted Maple Neck. Maybe it's a RMN line, whatever it's called. I like those much better. Those are the best necks that they have. And you know, and like I said, I'm really good friends with the Vola guys. I help them at trade shows. Like at NAMM. Like if I go out with them, I help them do stuff. I do performances. I've done a bunch of clinics for Vola, so I've enjoyed, you know, seeing Vola grow, and they've like really fine-tuned their stuff. Or even on Instagram, a lot of times I take pictures and do stuff for them. So I like that side of stuff too. Well, maybe get a gold top. You know what happened? The whole reason the gold top fever kind of hit was, and it's not meant to sound name droppy at all. I played when I was in Shanghai. I got to play and hang out with Doug Aldridge a little bit. You know, from White Snake, and he was in not Giant. What was the '80s band he was in? I can't remember the name of it. But Dead Daisies, you know, amazing. I love Doug's playing so much. But I got to play his gold top, which had humbuckers in it. And shortly after that, I was doing a clinic, and we were in, I think it was Mississippi. And at the store we were doing the clinic, I was doing a clinic for Vola, and they happened to have a 56 gold top in there. And I played it, and I loved it. And it was like, both these situations were really, really close to each other. Like, I had just gotten back from Shanghai, and then it was like a few weeks later, I was in Mississippi doing the clinic, and I just happened to play another gold top. And I think at that point, it was like, it planted the seed, and I was like, I need gold top, you know. And that was whenever I decided to, I was like, you know what, it's not that I just want any gold top. I was like, I want a birth year guitar. And I think the gold top should be like my birth year. So that's why my gold top is an 89. So it's, you know, it means a lot. I love the guitar. That's why you guys see it all the time. It's just a cool guitar. Oh, it's time the guitar finds you. Yeah. Yeah, I take my favorite stuff that Doug has done in the past little bit is, if you've never listened to Revolution Saints, man. I mean, like I said, Doug's always been amazing, but to me, like, the Revolution Saints, it's my favorite stuff that he's done. With what's the singer? He's the drummer. What's the drummer? Journey. Dean Castanovo, is that his name? Amazing singer. But then, of course, you get Doug, and then it has Jack Blades from Night Ranger on bass, also singing. I mean, what a powerhouse three-piece. You got Jack Blades, Dean Castanovo, and Doug Aldridge in one band. Ugh. It's just an overload of talent. I don't pick up anything in shop, only been at it a month, and I'm too nervous to. Oh, don't worry about it, Kristen. Don't worry about that at all. You'll get more confident, and you know, the best thing you can do, honestly, if you are starting out, I found this helped me out a lot. And if you're going to stores to try out a piece of gear, don't try to just noodle around. Have a couple of riffs that you know how to play really well, and basically, like, have a plan. Go in there if you're going to try guitars. Be like, okay, I know I can play these riffs really good, and I'm going to sit here and practice them before you go in there, and that way you can go in there and be comfortable, and, you know, you don't have to play super loud or anything like that. Just, you know, you'll hear the annoying guys, aka me, and they're playing too loud. But don't let any of that stuff intimidate you. Like I said, just kind of go in there and you know, have like the riffs known down ahead of time, and I'm telling you what, it's no big thing at all, dude. You can do it, no sweat. Guitars from my birth year are way too expensive. I feel bad for the guys who are like, yeah, well, my birth year is 59. I'm like, oh god, you got the short end of the stick, because I'll never get to own a Burst or anything like that, but I can admire them from afar. Let me walk over to the case, not open the other case, but I'll open this one. I gotta turn this air conditioner down. It's freezing me out. Whew. But yeah, I got lucky. I got lucky. 89s, well, they're still expensive, but, you know, nothing compared to 59. Is it possible to self-learn through YouTube? Because that's what I've been doing for the past 2 months. I think just starting out on YouTube might be a little bit of a challenge. I think YouTube's great. I'll tell you one of the most, I think most annoying things ever on YouTube here in just a minute. But I think actually starting with someone's course, and I'm not saying this because I have courses too. There's other guys, like look up Tim Pierce. He has guitar courses. Like, just find a person who you enjoy the way that they teach, and if they offer a beginner course, try to just start with that. Because what's going to happen if you're a beginner starting out, you kind of don't know what direction you want your playing to go in. So I think starting with a course is a really good way to do it. Once you have your your hands and fingers under you a little bit, then venture into YouTube stuff. What I hate it so much, is who is it? It might be Guitar Tricks. I don't hate them. I hate that they have this commercial where they're like, sick of trying to learn guitar from so-called YouTube guitar. I don't know. It's so like degrading and insulting to like the YouTube community of people. It just seems so uncalled for. I'm like, why? Why do you have to do that? And they're like a big company. You know, they probably make millions of dollars off their guitar courses. And I'm just like, man, I don't know why you have to try to like throw shade on everyone else. Like, I'd never do that. And none of the other guys do that. Rick Beato has courses. Tyler from Music is Win has courses. None of us ever throw shade on anyone else. We obviously want you to check out our courses. Like I mean, that's part of what we do. It's not no. It's not Carl. It might not be Guitar Tricks. I don't know. They have commercials on all the time, but they say it, and I hate it so much every time I see that commercial. Tom Hess. I'm not sure who that is. That commercial really ticks me off. Yeah, I hate it. I'm like, I don't, like I said, I don't get it. I don't understand the need to be so like disrespectful about it, I guess. So, and I remember it was so funny because they even like they emailed me years ago, or maybe it wasn't years ago, maybe it was last year or something, and they were like, oh, we wanted to see if you would do our like influencer program where I have an affiliate link, and if someone signs up for their guitar courses, then I get like a kickback from it or something like that. And I'm like, you guys clearly have not watched done any research on my channel at all, because why in the world would I purposely send someone else to you guys to buy your course instead of my course? And I go, and I'm one of those so-called YouTube guitar teachers who you say is like pointless to try to learn from. They were giving away a really crappy guitar the other day. Yeah, that's the one. I don't know what kind of guitar they were giving away, so I won't comment on that. But that's the company. Yeah, like I said, I think in-person lessons are really, really beneficial if you can do something like that, for sure. What else was I gonna say? Oh yeah, but anyways, yeah. So like I said, I think starting with a guitar course, like overall, is a great way to start, and then you can kind of map out. I remember what I was gonna say too now. I talked about this, I think, last stream, and I thought about making a video about it, but I didn't know if it was kind of like mean in a way. I wanted to do a video called like how to tell if a guitar teacher's right for you. And what I kind of thought, and I feel this way, is that it's kind of like learning stuff from guys on YouTube. I feel like the best way to tell, hey Mike, what's up, buddy? The best way to tell if someone's lessons are for you is to listen to their original music. because most guitar players are going to have some kind of original music out there, especially if they're trying to teach stuff. And I feel like a person's original music is a direct footprint to be like, hey, all the stuff that they're trying to teach you has led them here. So it's like the intro songs that I've been doing on a lot of my videos. If you like those, well, all those intro songs is just this big kind of like conclusion to all the stuff that I've learned over the years. So it kind of makes sense to me that like when I'm teaching stuff, it's like, oh, well, this is the stuff that led him here. So if you hear my original music and you hate it, well, probably the stuff I'm teaching wouldn't be the most ideal for you as a player because, well, obviously, like I'm, going through and like all the stuff I come up with is just stuff that I've worked on and I've learned and all that kind of stuff, and it led me here. So that's I was thinking about doing a video about that because it'd be like like Ben Eller. Like I've heard Ben's original stuff and I love it. So learning stuff from Ben seems ideal for me because I think Ben's a great player and all that kind of stuff. So or like I mentioned Tim Pierce. Like listen to like a lot of Tim's videos. He has those little original pieces of music, and that's who I basically like nicked the whole idea from. Was Tim always had these really cool little like original intros, and they're real short but enough to get your attention. And I love Tim's playing, so it makes sense that whenever he does lessons, that I'm like, all right, I'm gonna learn some stuff from Tim. Marty music is a lifesaver. Yeah, that's the thing, And Marty is like one of the original. Marty, Justin Santacor, Eric Andreas, Brett Papa. Those are like the original guys. All fantastic teachers, amazing guys. Like I don't know Marty or Justin at all. I got to meet Justin this past Winter NAMM, which was really, really cool. But I've become good friends with like Brett Papa and Eric Andreas, and I think they're both amazing teachers. And I think another thing is that a real good guitar teacher is always like motivating, telling you like you got this. It's a lot like being a trainer or something. Robert, have you considered making audiobooks on the side? You have the perfect narrating voice. Oh, Jason, I think I have the worst, most annoying voice. I appreciate you saying that. It's why I'm probably like, I don't know if self-conscious would be the right word, but I hate talking a lot. Like I hate hearing myself talk. As I do this live stream where I talk for like 3 hours. What do you think about Jake Lazo's Signals Music Studio? I've never heard of it. Are you self-taught or did you start with one-on-one lessons? Sorry, who could not love your playing? Oh, thank you, Mike. Sorry, I'll answer that self-taught one here in a second. I just saw some incredible feel and expression. Oh, well, that's very nice of you, Mike. Sorry. CGS. I should probably call you by your screen name. But anyways, I'm like, I started out learning a little bit. Like I learned a couple chords, and my friend over the phone taught me how to play Smoke on the Water on the high E string. And I remember I literally wrote it out on a piece of notebook paper, and he had just learned it too. But we called the open strings plain. So on a piece of paper I wrote P3-5, P3-6-5, and I just knew. And I would do it on each string. So after I did that for like 4 months, and I remember my dad asked me, he's like, are you ever going to learn anything else? Because he had an acoustic and a mandolin, and what was great is you can play Smoke on the Water on any stringed instrument. Any string, and it's the same. So I would just play it on everything. But eventually I got lessons. And my first guitar teacher wasn't very good. And then I had a second guitar teacher who was amazing, Tim McMillan. And I still know Tim, and Tim actually went on to be one of the like higher ups at Fender and all kinds of cool stuff. And Tim was such a good player. Man, he's so good. And then Tim moved away because he got the job at Fender, and it was what was funny is his guitar teacher was moving back to town. Back whenever before we moved and stuff, the town that I lived in, and his name was Milo, and so he was like, no, Milo's a great, and I think, Tim was a really good teacher and a great guitar player, but I think Milo was the best guitar teacher I ever had. He's such a good teacher. Man, Milo was good. Milo's the one who basically would give me stuff to learn and kind of like was the basis of how I teach. Really came from Milo. Because Milo would be like, all right, here's what you have to learn. And he was the one who would write out the scales for me to learn, but he didn't write them out in number form. He wrote them out on the tab paper as in the notes. So he would give me stuff like the pentatonic scale or the C major scale, and it wasn't, he didn't write it out like, oh, sorry. With the numbers, he'd be like, oh no, you're going to go C, D, E. And that's how I learned a lot of the scales. And I didn't realize it, but he was basically like tricking me to learn the notes on the guitar neck while we would do this. And we would just go through, all over the place. And if I came into the guitar lessons, the deal that we had, he's like, you know what, we'll learn whatever you want to learn as long as you learn what I give you, like the extra stuff each week. Like I said, he was such a good guitar teacher for doing it this way. And if I came in one week and, we were working on, like I said, moving our C major scale around, and I didn't know it, he'd be like, all right, the first half of the lesson now we're going to spend going over this stuff. And we would. And he would not teach me the Van Halen song I wanted to learn for the first half of the lesson. So it was really motivating. Each week I would come in and I would like know the stuff that he was, the theory side of stuff that he was trying to teach me as a kid. And then I'd be like, all right, are we going to learn Panama now? It's like, all right, we'll learn Panama. I'm like, because that's all I wanted to play. So he like tricked me into learning this stuff. And then after that, I didn't take lessons I just kind of started doing it on my own. But he was really that like incredible foundation to learning all that stuff. And actually, you know what? And then years later, I took lessons from Milo again, probably like 5 years ago. And we were working on reading sheet music and stuff like that. Like I said, I got a job teaching at a school, like classes. And I was working on reading sheet music and all that kind of stuff. Steve, all on the same day, the power tree. There's smoke on the water and after I started the bass line. Under pressure, nice. Mike, that's great. Play Panama. I need something with humbuggies to do that right. Look at that tune. It's that cold air. It just hits right on the top of the guitar and it knocks him out of tune. I need a humbucker so bad. Man. Blondie, you know what you are. I used to know how to do it. Yeah. Ah. Feel how like stiff and tired my hands are feeling. AC air will balance out and affect the guitars a bit less. Yeah, for sure. It's just so hard up here because this room gets so warm. But request for some Buckethead. I don't know any Buckethead. I'm afraid. I wish I did. I should. He's such an incredible player. Tease. Say my name. My name. Boom. Just said it. Put this back. Right, the guitar I was like vibing with the most was this one, and I think I played it the least because David was on here. I love the chords to like a CC DeVille lick. Favorite Frusciante riff? Probably like I love the what's the one? The Peacock Strut or whatever it's called. He's got a lot of really, really cool riffs. Whoa, some freaky bug just ran over there. I've been practicing this lick a lot. I want to put it in a video. I'm working to get better at it. But it's this picking pattern. I really like it. I'll loosely say I came up with it. I'm sure it's been done before. But I just like the sound of it. My hands are tired. I can't do it. Then I work it out. Mix it up a little bit. Yeah, I kind of like that Paul Gilbert one. How's it go? Not the best one to do on a Les Paul. Yeah. I can do it a little bit better when my hands are a little more awake. Les Pauls are heavy, yeah. Robert, I have grumpy neighbors. What is the best low-watt bedroom amp to go for? I'm thinking maybe 5 amp? I'm not sure what 5 amp is. I think, if you need to be really quiet, go solid state, not tube. Get like a Katana or something like that. Years, I couldn't tell you about longevity being manufacturers use it. I must have missed something else. I'm sorry. 3 a.m.? Yeah, 3 a.m. here too. Well, I felt really bad. Like I said, I missed the live stream last week, and this week was the UFC, and UFC is usually not done till around 1 a.m. I was like, man, I feel so awful not making it to another week. Been 2 weeks in a row with no live streams, and because like I said before, I look forward to the live streams. I look forward to hanging out to you. The incentive is never, like I said, for the super chats or anything like that. You guys don't have to do any of that stuff. I just legitimately look forward to it's different than like the comments. I love responding to comments too. I'm not saying that, but this just is like a different level to it. So like I said, I look forward to it every single week. So I was like 2 weeks of not hanging out with you guys. I was like, no, I need to not be a little wimp and just sleep in a little bit on Sunday. Stay up a little bit later. I drank like a cup of coffee that had like an extra scoop of espresso in it. So don't worry, I'm good for a while. I love to play like that at any time, let alone 3. No, oh man, I wish. That's the only issue with doing the late live streams is my playing's usually rough, but it is what it is. Ooh, 10 years gone. How can I pass up an opportunity to butcher 10 years gone for you guys? Are you up in White Lake? Nice. trying to remember, because Jimmy doesn't do this. I always thought that's how he did it. He's up here. That's what it is. I didn't realize it until I was watching a live video of him one time. And, you know, like, you think you know how they're playing something. And all of a sudden, he went like this. He goes... And his hand shifted up. I'm like, whoa, where are you going? And all of it, like, I've always just went... You know, but he doesn't. He goes... he goes up here. Which makes it easy to transition to this E minor. And the D major 7. Are those DiMarzios? Nope, these are actually these are Gibson T-tops. Like I said, I get asked about if these are DiMarzios all the time. They're not. The reason why you think they're DiMarzios, which is funny that you said that, is because they look like Super Distortions or something. DiMarzio sued Gibson over this because DiMarzio had a patent apparently over the double cream bobbins. So Gibson had to stop. They lost the lawsuit and they had to stop making these double cream T-tops. Ooh, can I play blindfolded? Sure. I don't know how good it would be, but I could probably do it. Oh yeah, see, DR Guitar's got it. Remember, do seek and destroy. I'm still tuned to drop D, so I can't do too much more than that. Please would be an honor. I'm not sure what that means. Ramble On. I love Ramble On. You know, that's one of the things I was talking to Tim today. Let me tune up for a second. Was something I was talking to. Shoot, I'm so brain dead right now. Tom Bukovac about. He said in one of his videos was that he's like like him and Tim are obviously like top of the top session guys, and once you learn how to play really clean and you palm mute everything, it's hard to not play that way. And I was talking to him, I was like, it's funny, I was just thinking about this the other day, how, not that I'm some super clean, precise guitar player, but I've spent a lot of time trying to be, as clean as possible. And when you're trying to play like a Jimmy Page lick or something, for example, he has this cool trait of adding that grit to his playing. It's like the lick, he's his famous kind of like... It's like if you listen to the way he does it in this super percussive, like I don't want to say sloppy, but it's just this like gritty kind of way that Page does it. And no matter what I do, I never sound like him because I feel like I've spent so much time trying to like play things very like, like very, very detailed, and to try to like undo it, it's like impossible. And it totally has its own sound and vibe to get that kind of like rock and roll grit and stuff. So it's really fascinating. Oh, dude, I've watched It Might Get Loud so many times. I can't even imagine sitting there. How Jack White and The Edge can even like compose themselves around Page. Like how cool would that be? They're like in this room and they're playing like In My Time of Dying or Jimmy's playing Ramble On. Like it's so cool. Say sloppy. Well, it seems like it, but I'm not using it in like a negative context because it's who in their right mind is in the position to critique Jimmy Page, So I just kind of like treat it as like that's just kind of his thing. That was just his sound because I feel like sloppy is something that it's like you're messing up, and you can't really like recreate it. But he kind of like consistently had that sound, so it's kind of like I don't know. Because I'm actually going to do a video about... Well, I'm not going to spoil the video. but it's about just that. Yeah, that's the thing. Eddie has this swagger to his playing that's uncopyable, and Page has that grittiness to it. Like I said, listen to any Jimmy Page solo tracks. It's fascinating how much string noise and ring out there is, and I don't think that it's a matter necessarily that he couldn't play it cleaner, but it seems like it might have been intentional. I don't know. It's really strange. I'll tell you what happened recently is that I was recording a song. It was the studio tour song. So that riff... How did it go? I'm trying to remember. It was slide... I don't remember it now. Oh, because I was on the 12 string because the action's so high. Whatever I did, but then I go... Oh, no. Like, that's the riff, but you might not have noticed it, but underneath it, there was a 12-string part that goes... And I originally did it all as a scratch track, and I had my wife listen to it. She's like, oh, I really like that, the layering on the stuff. I'm like, yeah, I thought it sounded cool. That jangle of the 12-string was in there. And then I went back and I retracked everything, and I played it much cleaner. And then she came back and listened to it, and she was like, oh, I don't like that as much anymore. I was like, really? And she's like, yeah, something's different. And she's like, play it before. And I had, the other tracks, and I unmuted them. She's like, yeah, I like that. And I played the other one. She's like, I don't like that one. And I'm like, that's so strange. And we listened to it. And she liked the one that had kind of the string noise and the grittiness to it. She's like, yeah, that one, and it did. It just had this space to it. It was really I was I was just like, all right, and I just left it like that. So it's actually I didn't intentionally play it sloppy, but it was intentionally left sloppy because it added something to the track. So it's really, strange how that works. I showed my wife I need this guitar. That's funny. Yeah, I've been doing more slide stuff. If you watch the studio tour video, it has a decent little bit of a slide. The action's really low on this guitar, so it's hard to do it on here. And what does it do? Again, the action on the gold top is a lot higher, so it's a little bit easier to do that stuff. Swampy, not sloppy. There you go. That's a good way to put it. Yeah, I think Page was a great writer, and what a lot of people don't know is that John Paul Jones was an arranger. I believe he went to college. So they really had such a powerhouse from that standpoint. Obviously John Paul Jones played a lot of these instruments and did all, came up with a lot of the riffs too. But he was also like I said, I'm almost positive he went to school for arrangement. So, just super, super, super talented. So yeah, so Page would come with all these, sweet, sweet riffs, and I would imagine John Paul Jones probably helped arrange a lot of especially the more complex songs. So I don't have a way to prove that, like Achilles' Last Stand or any of that stuff, but I bet he had a lot of input in it. always like a 60% chance I'm not gonna remember how that build up goes. I don't know why I can never remember it. I did it right though. I played it right first time. Play Layla. There you go. I don't know, how does it go? There you have it. Yeah, so just some guy. Thanks for tuning in, man. I appreciate it's a late one tonight. Bending on JJ Cale and the minute. Humble genius. I don't know if I've listened to JJ Cale. I've definitely heard the name, but I can't say I've listened to him. Been playing almost half my life and still never learned a Clapton song other than Sunshine of Your Love. Back in the early days. Yeah, learn, I mean, that's an old Derek and the Dominoes song. But, I don't remember that lick anymore. Oh, he wrote Cocaine. That's funny. I did not know that. As was Knopfler. Wow. Boom, 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 boom. Boom, 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 boom. Boom, boom. Alright, guys. I think it's about time that I have to go to bed. I still favor his stuff from Cream. Yeah, no, I my favorite Clapton stuff is definitely from Cream. That was my favorite era of Clapton. Although he's got tons of good stuff, you know. I like Clapton a lot. There's not a lot of like the like hardcore, more like bluesy guys that I listen to, but I always listen to a lot of Clapton and SRV, and of course the Rev. He's, you know, he got that rock edge to him, but he's the man. Gibson K on Unreal right now. Yours is Mo Better. Oh, thank you. I saw one on there. It's like one of the So in '79 when they came out with the KMs, the first couple, like the very first batch, I think there's only 100 maybe, has a backplate on it right here that says like custom made or something like that. I personally don't like the way it looks, but it's it's a little bit more of a unique thing to it, and there's one on there for I think it's like $8,000. It's crazy. Not that I don't like this guitar, but I certainly didn't pay $8,000 for it, and it's funny, the KMs have gotten so hard to find. A friend of mine, a former student, he got a KM back years ago when I was still doing lessons, and he recently sold it. And this was like months ago. He sent me an email, and he's like, "Hey man, I'm selling my KM. If you know anybody who wants it." I'm like, "Oh, I don't right now." And sure enough, I had someone later who wanted it, and I messaged him. I was like, "Hey dude, did you happen to sell that guitar?" He's like, "Oh man, this is like months later." He's like, "Dude, that guitar," he's like, "it sold like within hours." Like he listed it, and he's like, "I wish I would ask more for it now than what he asked for, because it just sold like right away." And like I said, the KMs have gotten to where they're so hard to find, and like they're almost never available anymore. Oh, the one on there, the one on Craigslist has no plate. I looked not that long ago, and there was only one, and it had a plate. Only 179. Steep gains such so much. Ooh, I'll check them out. That's it. Don't like the custom plate. Yeah. I don't like the plate either. It just makes it more valuable, not any more, like, it doesn't change the tone or anything like that. So no, just hunt for them. They've become really, really hard. I got really lucky when I got mine, because even there was another one that was on there not that long ago. It was a cherry sunburst, which I'm not a big fan of the '70s cherry sunburst. I think, well, actually, I'll say something here real quick. I think that the best bursts that the '70s had to offer were the tobacco bursts, and I also think that the '70s have my favorite of all the eras of bursts. I think the tobacco bursts from the '70s, they just really did a good job on them. Same with my custom. It's a tobacco, and the KMs, when I got mine, I got lucky because it was kind of like right at the tail end of the vintage market was kind of down. So I got mine at a really good price. And the one that I saw, that cherry sunburst one that was just on there, it was like $4,000 like plus. I can't remember how much. I was like, whoa! I go, that's crazy that these guitars have just more than doubled in value in just, I've had mine for 5 or 6 years. So it's crazy that I'm like, all right, well, I mean, not that mine is probably like diminishing in value because of all the scratches and chunks missing out of it now, but it at the end of the day, they've went up quite a bit in value. So oh yeah, man, mine's got a lot of issues with it now. The finish of I've worn off the finish on the back of the neck. You can see down here, because it's a riff guitar for me, and and you can see some of the lacquers chipping off, and there's all kinds of, I don't know if you can see it, buckle rash and all the scratches, and you can see the nicks and dings in it now. But yeah, like I said, the Norland, it's nice because like a lot of people don't like the Norland era stuff. So then the guys like you and me who really like dig those, it's like sweet. It keeps the price of them down, and we know that they're awesome. So given one, then I can have an $8,000 Les Paul. Well, I don't think these guitars are worth $8,000 at all. I think that they're great. I think that they're great guitars. And I love mine. Like, this is my favorite guitar that I own. But I don't know if they're that good. But But if you could find one nowadays for, I'd say, at the most I'd probably pay for, one of these. If you could find one around 3 or maybe a little bit past 3, I think you'd still be, doing pretty good, because I think you could get your money back out of it. And they seem to just be going up. Because the important thing to remember about the KMs is that there were only 1,500 of them made, which sounds like a lot, but I bet if you go back and look at how many Les Pauls were made in the 70s, probably 15,000 of them, however many like standards and other stuff that was being made. Probably more than that. Who knows how many were made. So 1,500 is a relatively small number, and you never see the KMs for sale, or if they do go up for sale, they're just like gone right away. Well, I don't. Like I said, I think that's a lot of money to pay for a guitar, but I think that's reasonable. 3 is pushing it, isn't it? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like I wouldn't go too much past that. Like I said, the one that was on there before was like 4, and it's not that they're not great guitars. It's just what's happening, I feel like, to 70s guitars is that they're simply going up in value because the 70s are now becoming more and more vintage. So they're, like I said, I think they're great guitars, but I think they're getting to the point where they're pricing themselves out of what they really are. I had an SG and I got rid of it. There were only 1,559 bursts made, and only 2,000 of them survive. Yep. Classic Gibson math. I keep getting gas for a vintage brand junior. Ooh, those are nice. I've heard more people mention the vintage brand, and they really like them. Heading out, Robert. I love the kind of dude. Thank you so much, Cody. Thank you for tuning in. I'm gonna be bouncing out of here too in just a second. I decided that I was gonna tough it out and make at least a 2.5 hour stream because it's untuned. I had emailed Gibson stuff and sit down with them. What they said. Get rid of it because it untuned? No, I got rid of the SG because it was uncomfortable for me to play. It was like the way my right hand would sit on the guitar. It wasn't comfortable at all. I've never owned a Jazzmaster, but I'd like to get one. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with the SG. It ended up, I sold it, and it went to... Who got that? Oh, you know what? It was I think it was like a 13 or 14-year-old kid got it. I thought it was a Heritage in the old Kalamazoo factory. Basically, this is a Heritage. I mean, that's where this was made. So the KM stands for Kalamazoo model, and that's where the Heritage stuff is made now. But I don't think they do maple necks, So that's one thing to remember about the KMs and most 70 Les Pauls is it's a 3-piece maple neck. And it has the volute and all that stuff. And I really think that maple neck is, a crucial part of the sound of it. I think it's what gives it the snap that I like so much. play this one a little bit less though, because the frets are getting so worn out on it. It's finally time to get a fret job on it. Like just literally all new frets. And it's done good, but you can see. Oh man, I'm not sure if you guys will be able to see this on the camera or not, because it might not be in focus. Wow, those are getting bad. Here's the. Nah, you won't be able to see it. Can you see the dents in the frets from the strings? They're even worse than the last time I looked. I don't know if you guys will be able to see them. See those marks where the strings are not there? Those are the dents in the string, or in the frets from the strings playing it. But the frets are already short, so they're too short to have a fret dressing done on them. So yeah, that's why when I get up here, you listen to it. It's getting harder to play because, you know, some of the frets are worn out more than others and all that. Oh, Matthew, thank you so much, man. I really appreciate the super chat. Of course, dude. Throw your question in there in the chat, and I'll be sure to answer it. And thank you again for the super chat. Matthew says, so I have a circle of fifths constructed major scale from B using the whole step, half step, whole step, half step formula, but honestly, none of it really means anything to me. What am I missing to make it click? Unfortunately, I've never used the circle of fifths. I know it's very useful. My dad used it a lot because he's a singer, so he would transpose things to different keys. So I don't actually know. I don't know what the circle of fifths are, and I don't know. I assume it's just going up a fifth. I don't know. Like I said, I don't know what it means, but I guess so. Like when you're doing the whole step, half step, whole step formula. Think of it like, like I said, you have a whole step. So you're just doing the major scale. What you can do is, that's essentially kind of a formula on one string to work it up. And I think you said B? Yes, B. Now, what I like to do is, if I'm doing that kind of stuff, is each note of that scale, the whole step, half step, there's notes for each one. And each one has a chord associated with it. I even wrote out the major, minor, diminished chord, but it seems only helpful for creating your own backing track. Yeah. Well, actually, it can be helpful for that kind of stuff or figuring out things that you're learning. So, like I said, if you're playing the chords to the B major scale, you're going to be playing B major, and then it's going to go to C sharp minor, which would be up here. My fingers don't fit up here very well. Your 3 is minor, 4 is major, 5 is major. And then your 6 is major. Then, of course, you have your diminished, which I don't play in B major very often, so please forgive me not knowing this stuff the best. But I don't know. Like I said, that stuff helps me a lot. Or a lot of times, like I said, what can be kind of interesting is if you learn the chord progression of a song, I like to look at it sometimes, and I like to basically like steal the progression from what they're using. Because then if you know what, like, this whole step, half step, or just the chords to it, you can use that to really understand why they're using the chords they're using. Because I remember one time I was learning something and it was just went like this. It was like G, then it went to E minor, A minor, and then D. And it didn't initially make sense to me what they were doing until I thought about it. I'm like, well, they're going from the 1 to the key of G, and they're going to the 6. You go to the 2, and then the 5. So like I said, to me, it made it all click with what was happening. And then, you know, you can work on doing a lot of your inversions and stuff I'm always talking about. Then your A minor, you know. And what do I end with? A D major. So hopefully that kind of answered your question a little bit. If not, I'm really sorry, Matthew. That's to me like where that stuff comes into play and makes sense to me. Oh, the circle of fifths in his theory vids. Oh, perfect. Yeah, watch. I mean, oh god, yeah. Theory. I mean, you can't go wrong with Rubato. Would you ever buy a guitar when you love the looks? The neck, but you don't love the pickups. Kind of. You know, I was kind of talking about that earlier. Actually, it's funny you mentioned that because I don't know if I would, because all the guitars that I've bought, I like the entire aspect of the guitar. That's really what jumped out at me. Is I like the way the guitar sounds. And it's kind of like an outlook of, like, you know, there's no such thing as like a bad sound. It's like the Dan Electros. You know, they certainly don't have a sound for everything, but they have their very own like niche sound. So for me, I don't know if I would buy a guitar, because to me, part of it is I need the whole thing to sound like something new or something different that I want it to sound like. And I don't know if I could see past like one area not being good on it. Matthew, thank you again, dude. He said, how did you know that the C would be played in that position when you switched? Is it possible to make C fit the B scale with open C? Well, you know, it just depends on what the notes are in there. So think about it. If you're playing in B, you don't have a C note in your B scale. You know. You know, but I guess you kind of do if you're playing like B Phrygian. You know, then you would. See, because I think what's happening is you're wanting to get into more modal kinds of playing to make a lot of these other notes work in there. And I think the first thing you really have to do to get into that is you need to have a really good, you know, bass built off of just the major scale, because then you can notice whenever you alter certain notes, it is literally essentially going into a mode. So like I said, if you're trying to put that C, into your B scale, well, what basically what happens there is you're getting rid of what before was the 2. You know, in key of B, it's your C sharp, and you flattened it, so it's like a minor 2. And then it just depends on where else you're going with it. So to me, this is sounding more like Phrygian. chord shape and then switch. I mean, could you take the C open chord and sharpen the third, which C sharp fits the scale? I guess I'm not understanding. So you're saying take C chord and you're sharpening the third. Are you sharpening the third of the C chord, or are you saying of your B scale? Because if you sharpen the third on your B, like if you raise it, that changes that D sharp to an E. So you still wouldn't have C. If you take your C major chord and you sharpen the third, then you're just going to essentially be changing that E note to that, F sharp or F note. I'll be totally honest. A lot of times, like I said, I don't personally think about a lot of that kind of stuff, because a lot of the times I'm just playing. Like I only really use that side of theory if I'm like stuck and I kind of can't tell where I want something to go. I don't understand what I was asking either. Yeah, I'm a little bit confused necessarily on what you're asking, but I know for me, I use like. I was working on a song earlier for the new guitar, and basically the part goes like this, and I couldn't tell where I wanted to go, and I just kind of fished around for a note, and I was like, oh, the D, and I ended up going. Just curious why or how to know the C sharp chord and was that high on the neck. Oh, okay, Matthew, I might see what you're saying. So this would be your C sharp major or minor. So what I'm doing is I'm using what's called inversions. So basically, a really good way to look at this stuff, Matthew, is that a C sharp chord, whether it's C sharp major or C sharp minor, is only made up of 3 notes. And you can play the same chords all over the place. So like, I'll just do C sharp minor for now. Like that's a C sharp minor. And let's kind of dissect the notes for a second. So there's our C sharp, there's your G sharp, there's your C sharp again, and then there's your E note. Okay, so that's all making up your C sharp minor. Okay? Well, I could do it. Oh, sorry. A lot of different places. Look, it's all the same notes. C sharp, there's your E, they're just in a different order. So an inversion is the same notes, different order. So like I said, C sharp, there's your E, and there's going to be your G sharp, and then back to your C sharp again. Okay? I do this, I have a lesson, I can't remember what it's called, but I do this but with G chords. So like I said, you could play a G chord all over the place. These are all G chords. That's a G chord, G chord, G chord, G chord. You can do it with any of them. So I think maybe that's what is maybe tripping you up a little bit, Matthew. These are just inversions. So learn your triads all over the place. But I don't know how to play. Does that make sense? I'm so lost in learning guitar. I can't play, but I don't know how to play. Does that make sense? Yeah, the best thing you can do, Matthew. So if you're having issue with that, oh wait, hold on. That clears up a lot. So you are casually picking sharp throughout, and C sharp you picked was next, but you just followed the scale. Kind of. I'm following the notes. So I think I'm seeing where you might be getting a little bit lost, man. I think I got it. So basically, biggest thing you want to do is don't overload yourself with a lot of this stuff on guitar. Take one thing and work on it really, really, really well. Like I said, so what I'm doing is I'm not thinking of it in terms of scale at all when I'm talking about these inversions. I just through years of doing it, I've learned all the notes on the guitar neck. So you want to get to where you can play any note, wherever it is. That's an E note, that's a D note, C note, B note, A note, all that kind of stuff. You want to be able to know all those notes. And then what happens is you start learning, it's basically like formulas to make these chords. So this is where your scale ties in with knowing your chord. So if we are playing a G major chord, it's made up of 3 notes. It's your root, your major third, and your fifth out of your G major scale. So here's where the scale kind of comes into play here. And there's your G note, your major third would be your B note, and then your D note right there is your fifth. If I play those separate like that, I'm arpeggiating a G major chord. Now, anywhere on the neck that I have those 3 notes, doesn't matter what order it's in, that is a G major triad, or essentially a G major chord. Like, I think one of the confusing things about guitar is there's a lot of terms that have different meanings. It's like if you move up a half step or a whole step, it's a semitone. All these different things. Like, it all means the same thing. God, even scales have 2 names that mean the same. This is known as your major scale, or the Ionian mode. I don't know why it has 2 names. It just does. But like I said, you can take those 3 notes, so out of the key of G, the G, B, and D note, and play them anywhere. So like I said, I'm not thinking in terms of scale. I'm looking at the fingerboard and just thinking of where these 3 notes are. Literally, like, there's a G, there's a B, and there's a D. There's a G, there's a B, there's a D. There's a D, there's a G, there's a B. Here's a B. I'm starting on my third. B. There's my E. I'm sorry. There's my D. There's my G. Another G chord. Move up here. That's the same as before. G, B, D. Here I'm starting on the B this time. B, D, G. It's everywhere, And that just comes from studying the fingerboard and learning a lot of, like, where the notes are and all that kind of stuff. Oh, wow, Matt, thank you, man. You don't have to keep super chatting me. I appreciate it, but you don't have to keep doing it. He said, you're the man. Thank you very much. One last video. Hi, Jack. Can you give me a simple triad versus inversion explanation? Is it just the triad upside down? It can be anything. So a triad and an inversion, it just depends. So an inversion is basically playing the same thing in a different way. So you can have triad inversions. It doesn't necessarily mean that it's upside down. It means it's the same notes. So if here I'm doing like a G major triad, so just play this one with me. So this is a G major triad right now. I'm going to go 5th fret on the D, 4th fret on the G, and then 3rd fret on the B. Okay? So that's a G major chord or a triad, 2 names for the same thing. And an inversion would be any way of putting those 3 notes in a different order. So just go like this. Pick your fingers up off the guitar, play an open D, G, and B. Same thing. So this version of a G major chord went root, 3rd, 5th. By picking up your fingers, playing the same string, we're actually starting on our 5th, going to our root, going to our 3rd. That's an inversion right there. Another inversion. All these. Learn how to do, the way I did it was I learned 3 strings at a time. And I just worked my way up the fingerboard. I would do it all the way up, and I'd move to the next set of 3 strings, and I would just work my way through those. And just keep working your way up. Go to the next set. And sorry. Go up. Next set of 3. And I just kept, going up. Oh, sorry. Through the scale. That was it. There's another Arthur in here. Hey, Arthur! I play everything wrong. Sorry, I'm trying to find the chat. Skeleton modes can get, they can get super confusing. So thank you again, Matthew. Hopefully that was a decent kind of like Reader's Digest explanation of that. 3 strings at a time. Yeah. Well, and actually, okay. Thank you so much. Of course. Yeah. Another like really cool thing you can do. Who said that? Craig. If you're doing like the guy who opened my eyes up to it was Eric Johnson, and it wasn't so much in his like everyone does this. That way, which is really cool. But I realized he was using different voicings for very simple major chords. So, like, for example, take, like this one. And start moving your notes around inside of the other inversions. So, like, I'm like, okay, so, like, when I was doing this... Okay, so that was one version of it. Here's the next inversion. Okay, and here was the last one. Well, instead of doing like this, let's give it a bigger jump. So it's like, okay, where can I start replacing notes at? I'm like, well, I got a D note here and a D note here. So what if I went like, I did these two, but what if I did this? Just those two in there. And I just find ways to put the notes back in there that I skipped. And I'm like, oh, okay. Well, then I could go like this, and then there's the open G. I could do like this. Now all of a sudden I have this really spaced out chord, because I'm still getting all my notes. There's my 5th, there's my root, there's another 5th, and then there's my 3rd, there's my B note. And you get these really cool chords. You could do it like that if you wanted to. He would do that a lot with his chords, or do chords like that, where where a lot of people learn how to move that D chord around. Well, instead of having your 3rd down here, there's your root 5th, there's your 3rd, put it up here on the lower strings. So you can really come up with these really cool big interval chords, and you don't have to have a lot of theory behind it, because I'm not using crazy like dominant 6 flat 11 sharp 13 chords. I'm just using basic major and minor chords, but just come up with cool inversions of them. Oh, sorry. So all that stuff. Matthew said, I think you helped me open my eyes. It's hard to ask questions when you don't know what you don't know. That's a great point. I've never had a teacher, and I've just been stumbling around for years. Yeah, man, it just takes time, and I 100% can relate to what you're saying, because I was in the same spot. I didn't understand. Hey, from Hagstream. With inversions, look at the chord shape you already know. Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, because there's something called the cage system, which I've never learned it, so I don't know it. But a lot of people I've heard them reference the cage system of moving around and keeping like the shapes the same. Yeah, Matthew, just keep plucking away at it, man. You got this. It's funny, Sean. Your last name is Zimmerman. Where I grew up, my parents rented a house from Edwin and Grace Zimmerman. It's funny. I've never seen that last name before, other than, well, their last name was Zimmerman. And now I'm like, huh, I haven't thought about that last name in a long time. Joe, what's up, buddy? You're here. I'm just getting ready to leave, man. You're late. I didn't know if I was even going to be able to have a live stream tonight. The Jared James Nichols, it's right over there, man. It needs tuned up and all that stuff. It's been sitting by the air conditioner. Actually changed my strings for the first time. Woo! That's awesome, dude. That's an accomplishment. You know, for real though. But yeah. Anyways, Zimmerman Telegram. Huh. Yeah, like I said, I've never heard that last name before until, other than like I said, the people my parents were in the house from. But anyways, yeah, I am gonna call it a night, guys. And other than that, let me put the guitar down. That's my first mistake, is I never put the guitar down. So then I let me just play guitar for a second longer. All right. I've heard of Robert Zimmerman. Maybe there's a lot more Zimmermans than what I realized. All right, do you guys? It's like 4 a.m. Do you guys want to be the first to see the new? I guess it's like a not so new guitar because I've had it for a while now. But do you guys want to see the new one? This guitar was it was my big goal for this year to get one of these, and you know. The planets aligned, and it did happen. The video on it won't be out till Wednesday. I'm still working on the song for it. But you've actually heard this guitar a ton. You've heard it on almost every intro song since I got it. FC, can you guess? Yes. Guess, okay, we'll do this. Guess what you guys think it is. What do you think the new guitar is? Need a Randy Savage action figure? Yes. Matthew, thank you. Oh! Right, let's get some guesses in here. Yep, oh, look at you guys. Man, you know me so well. I didn't think anybody would know it. I guess let you guys. It's not an SG. It has been guessed correctly. So, you guys win in the guessing department for sure. Set that one down over here. Now you'll notice one thing: these latches aren't as lively as the other ones. They barely open. You can tell, man. I don't know if you guys can see the case. Yeah, you probably can't see it too much anyway. But this guitar has just lived its life in this case. So you guys were so spot on with it. It's a telly, but even better because it doesn't have a neck pickup on it, which some might not view that as being better, but for me it's better because I don't like the neck pickup on a telly, and it's so light, it's crazy. Gibson Explorer, maybe one day. And I'll say a White Guard. Yep, a White Guard Esquire, man. It is. You know, it's funny. Someone mentioned the Jared James guitar, and you know, me and Jared are buddies, and I was talking to him. This is a little while back, and he got, I think his gold top, which is called Old Red, is a 56. Maybe, I'm not real sure. But he was just telling me, like, he's never experienced a guitar that just sustains and rings. He said, and it's so acoustically loud than that guitar. He said it was, like, crazy. And I'm like, oh, that's true. I have guitars that I feel like are real, like, loud until I got this guitar. And it is so loud. And I've never felt a guitar, like, I thought the Friedman guitars shook a lot, like, vibrated, and the Strat vibrates pretty good too. But it's wild. It feels like it would, like, vibrate off, and, like, it weighs 6'4", 6 pounds 4 ounces, so crazy light. What year? So this is, I was talking about the V neck earlier. So this is a 58. So this is it's got a really old body refin on it, but everything else is original on it. You can see the original frets too. Like, whoever had it was like a rhythm guy. So just the lower frets are kind of worn out on it, but you can see the frets are still in good shape, but the lacquer and everything on it is all cracked on it pretty good. I don't know if you guys can see that or not. You can see all the checking on it, but so loud. I mean, it's like, here, there we go. Let's just compare the sounds not plugged in. Careful and not set that one down anywhere. So a normal, like, modern telly that's not in tune at all. We'll just do like a light test. So I'm hitting it pretty hard. And then this one. It's so much louder. I can see the levels on here from the mic. So it's just like twice as loud. Yeah. Do you know Levi? Levi Clay? I do know Levi. I love Levi. It was just the right price. No, I'll turn the mic off here for a second. quit while I'm ahead. Yeah, it should sound pretty close to Page. Obviously, he had an actual Telecaster. This is not a Telecaster. It's an Esquire, but his was a 59. So very, very similar, close to each other, and similar pickups, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, other than the fact that I don't have a neck pickup to have the middle position. But I'll question you guys on this one, because a lot of people don't know it, is why does a single pickup guitar have a three-way selector on it? Doesn't make any sense. What does the three-way selector do? Assuming I remembered to unmute the mic. Yeah, it's like the most comfortable neck ever. Nope, nothing to do with phase. Bigger guitar. It's for interdimensional travel, of course. Oh yeah, like okay. TR guitars. You're not allowed to comment. You know the answer to this one. So it's pieced together. You guys have it all. So basically, what happens is, in what would normally be your neck position, is it runs through extra capacitors, and it basically gets rid of all of your bass or all of your treble. So you get this really bassy. To me, almost like this. I mean, it's almost like the sound when you roll your tone knob all the way down. How's it go? How's it go? Can't remember how that Benson song goes, or Mason song. And then the middle position, you have full tone control. And then in your forward position, it's just wired directly to the output, so it bypasses the tone. So you guys got it right. You hear how it has that extra little like bite to it? So I ride it most of the time on the middle position. So I like to roll a little bit of that bite off, but for solos, it's really nice to have that extra bite. Yeah, the dark circuit, yep. How's it go? Brown. Most hated the dark circuit. Yeah, a lot of people do, but you know what's funny is I really like it. So like the song I'm writing for this guitar, it starts with the dark circuit. So, except there's a lot of like these different layers. Like when it goes to that part, oh, I have the wrong tone pulled up actually. This would need to be like this. Yeah, Anyways, there was a lot of different like cool things. So like on the intro, go, and behind it, it's going. Yeah, the old rotary thing. But yeah, so you guys are the first to see it because you're up till 4 a.m. So, is one position a blower? Kind of like a blower. Yeah, it's kind of like a blower switch. It just wires it directly to the output. Yeah, you guys do it. Thank you guys. Yeah, thank you very much. You know, I really wanted to get one of these, and you know, thankfully my wife is like super on board. She's like, "Oh yeah, well let's research it." Something that's kind of cool about this one is, like I said, you know, I wanted to start uncovering the story of this guitar. So apparently, the person who owned this before me, I'm trying to get in touch with them to get to the next person, was Tom Peterson, which is the bass player from Cheap Trick. You know, I think he's still playing with Cheap Trick. I don't think he's the original bass player, but he's like been their bass player for a long time. So I thought that was kind of cool, but I don't really know how to get a hold of him to like ask him questions. So I'm trying to figure that out, and then you know, maybe he can tell me where he originally got it from, because he had it, they said, for probably like, I don't know, 15 or 20 years or whatever it was. So then he got it from somewhere, and I'm like, oh, I don't know, maybe if I can get that information from him, I can go to where he got it from, and we can start kind of like with the Strat, you know, just uncovering this guitar. Because, like I said, it was clearly played, but like not at all down here. Like most of the playing wear is all right here. So like they were, I mean, to me, a brave soul playing cowboy chords on an Esquire, but someone was doing it. And that, because you can see, like, and this is to me one of the most fascinating things about a maple neck, is you can see where they played. I'm like, okay, so they played D chords a lot. It looks like they played C, and they probably played G. You know, and that was probably the majority of it. Maybe some like A7 or something. But yeah. Get to see it before the video. Yeah, so you guys have seen, I've had it for a while, and but I'll tell you something that's gonna happen, so you guys can get the scoop on all the stuff, since you're up till 4:30 a.m. with me, and I'm gonna go to bed. So ironically, like I said, when I got the Strat, we gave away the black Strat to Jim, and we said we'd give away another guitar. So when I announced this guitar, we're actually going to give away the matte blue Acacia that I have. I thought it would maybe mean a little bit more if it was like a personal guitar. That one's been in like, I don't know, I think 3 of my most popular videos I ever did on YouTube. So I'm going to give that one away. I just need to get the input jack fixed on it. So I'm going to get that fixed before I give it away with this one. And I thought about, I don't know if anybody would want it, the 8-string guitar. It just sits here, and I feel bad. I'm like, I should give that one away too. But ironically enough, that I just happened, my buddy Landon sent me a link, because he knows about this guitar and he's seen it and everything. And he's like, well, look, Squier is literally, I think for the first time, issuing an Esquire guitar. Like literally just a blonde white guard, just like this one. I'm like, what are the odds that Fender is releasing a Squier Esquire right now? So we got on the waiting. Also, whenever you, so we pre-ordered one, and what I'm gonna do is when it gets here, I think Brian at Sweetwater told me it's like another week before they get them, and I want to do a comparison video for one, just like for fun, like to compare it and unbox it. But then we're gonna give the Squier Esquire away. So I thought that might be kind of like a fun little thing, and I want to try to make it more of a point that whenever I get a guitar, to give something away, to the, you know, to be paying it forward, and not just trying to be this greedy, like, guitar monger over here, like keep all the guitars for myself. I think it's only fair that I should give stuff away each time. So, owned by a cowboy. Exactly. But so yeah, so you guys got all the scoops. Like whatever guitar you want to give away. Good morning from England. Thanks for a great lesson. Oh, thank you very much. Funk McFingers. I love that name. But yeah, so you guys will be seeing all that stuff here real soon. And I thought it would at least be a, kind of a cool thing. Guitar hoarder. I know, right? Can't be quick, just hanging on the wall, but that was when James Lindsay. Oh, we must be talking about something else. So yeah, so like I said, you guys will see that whenever that guitar gets here. I'm going to do an unboxing video of the Squire Esquire, hard to say, and then we'll be giving that one away too. So like I said, I don't know. Do you think I should give the 8-string away, or is that just kind of like no one? Because I mean, obviously, I'm not known for playing an 8-string guitar, and I imagine most of the people who watch our channel is just like for rock. Mike, I'll take the free Bentelli. Battery's low? Yeah, I mean, that means we should wrap it up, right? I will go ahead and we'll call it a night. So you guys got all the scoops, all the info. I might even edit this whole section out of the live stream when people can't even watch it on the replay. So make a clock out of the 8-string. I know, right? Tosin will play it. I know. So we'll have to see. We'll see. Like I said, I don't know if anyone would even want the 8-string guitar. I bought it just to help a buddy out. Too many strings. I know, right? So, other than that, guys, have a great rest of your night. I appreciate you all hanging out with me. And you just keep it all under your hat until Wednesday, whenever I announce this guitar. Sorry, the chat. It's like the chat was frozen, and all of a sudden it's like all updating. Yeah. So have a great night, guys. Yeah, the battery is about to die. Like I said, it just means it's time for me to actually go to bed. Stream Rob. Yeah, thank you guys for tuning in. I know it was a super late one. And other than that, guys, I think we'll just bounce on out of here. So have a great rest of your night. And, well, I guess day, because it's almost 5 o'clock in the morning. Wow. Okay. Yep. And I think that's it. So, bye, guys. Whoop. I guess I'll turn this off first. Later.